points for him. Up next was Zhao Ong with 11 points. So only two of them with double digits. And on the side of Thailand, Jing, they had four players with double digits. Two of those didn't even start in the first set. And it was Kun Mi and Sang Si who didn't start but still managed to get 14 and 12 points respectively in just 3 sets.
So Thailand, of course, they've got a great pedigree in volleyball. What is it that makes them so effective in this game, Michelle?
Based on their game versus Singapore, what I really saw in this Thai team is their combination plays. And that's what you get when you have two really strong middle hitters. You have Kisada Nil Sawai and you also have Anuchit Pakdikao who had 13 and 15 points respectively. When you have really efficient middle hitters, you can come up with so much combination plays, and your setter will be able to come up with that and really bring so much out of his playbook because you have so many spikers to choose from.
And meanwhile, for their opponents, of course, they always have to be guessing kung saan aatake ang Thailand, and we'll see if Myanmar will be up to the challenge here against the favorites, as mentioned. And this man will be the main man on the sidelines for Thailand, Mr. Mon Chai. He is the head coach of this Thai squad, and you can see that it's a formidable frame that they bring. All of their players, all very large. You can tell that they are volleyball players. If they were walking around on the streets, you would assume they're either basketball players or volleyball players. They got a great frame on their squad. Meanwhile, for Myanmar, ang ganda ng opener nila, you know, it's their first Southeast Asian Games, and they really conducted themselves as if it was no surprise for them, nothing new. It was a real calm performance from them.
And in that game, you really see how developed in terms of the quality of volleyball they have in their country. Even though it's their first time, you see how progressive already the quality of volleyball is there. So much to look forward to in this Myanmar team, and hopefully we can really see Ong Thu come back, if not in this game, which he wasn't lined up, so he won't be able to play in this game, but in the succeeding games and in the semifinals that we'll witness in the next few days.
At least an opportunity to figure out their chemistry without their main man, to get some guys going, heading into the semifinals as well. But you never know. There have been some surprises here in the Southeast Asian Games. None less than the first set that Singapore took away from Thailand. And of course, that Singapore squad, their average age was just 19.5 years of age. So, napakabata ng squad na yan. Going up against this experienced Thai team, they can leave the tournament with their heads held high.
And of course, so much to look forward to also for Singapore, and in their game versus Myanmar, that was an extended first set and a very close second and third set. So you really see that even though these players are rather young, even though the program is rather young, they kaya nila makipagsabayan sa mga veteran teams here in the SEA Games.
Underway now here at the Phil Sports Arena, and it's Myanmar who pick up the first point. Glad you could join us here on SNA. Nice conversion, the deep hit.
Ong Zhao there with a very high block. You see that reach, Jing, it was on top of the blockers of the Thai team, and you can rarely see that because of the height. Average height of this Thai team is very high.
Back-to-back points as that one heads out. Looking for the check, didn't get it. San Yudmang with the service. Nakabawi kagad. Lovely hit.
Jakarapov Sangsi. He was one of the players, Jake, that I told you a while ago that did not start in their game versus Singapore but still managed to get 12 points lang naman dun sa 4-set game nila versus Singapore.
It's also a sign of respect here from Thailand. They're not taking any chances against Myanmar, fielding the strongest 6 possible. They've got back-to-back points at Sangsi once again, this time from the defensive end. Nice kill block.
No room there for anyone to get through, any ball to get through that block all over that attempt.
Libero doing the setup job against the double block. Myanmar in a bit of disarray. Free ball now. Right down the middle for Thailand.
this is what Quesada Nilsawai does best. Even though he's looking in one direction, he'll be able to turn his arm and his wrist to the opposite side. That's why if you're in the middle, Jing, and you only have one blocker in front of you, it's so hard to read Quesada when he's going up and when he gets that elevation because his hand is so high above the block and he sees where the blocker is at all times.
Anachit going for that corner. Myanmar let it go. First service ace of the game. 4 straight points now for the Thais. From the back row. Well out of play, that one. It's an early timeout being called as you take a look at Ong Thu. Oh no. His foot is in a cast. You look at the expression on his face. He must be pretty bummed that he cannot be involved in such a high-profile match. And this is what the Southeast Asian Games is all about, to be able to test yourself against the very best in the region.
And of course, even though you won the game and you played you played spectacularly with 25 points, but going down in that third set, and it was a sure win for them. They won that 25-18, and they were so close to the finish line, but he went down on that sprain, or you never know what's wrong with him as of the moment. No updates for us there, but he's in a cast and in crutches. So Jing, that must be something serious, and we don't know yet how many days it will take him because it's only a short amount of time, the SEA Games that we have.
Such a compressed schedule for these gentlemen. They're playing almost every other day. Slowed down from the block. Nice recovery from Myanmar, and they're able to score from that as well.
Broken play there, but it's not a problem for Yao Wai. He had 7 points in his last game, and he also is one of the go-to players. So today we'll see who else who's going to step up for Team Myanmar now that Ang Thu is out of the picture. So for sure we'll be able to see more of their offense now from their other players.
While it is a setback for the main man, Ong Thu, it is an opportunity for somebody else to come up and really make his presence felt. Unfortunately, that last service went out of play for Myanmar. 3-point lead for the Thais. Able to score there. Distracted by the double block. Fired that one wide.
Trying to go for a check ball, Zhao Lang wasn't able to find. Sometimes the block, you can use it to your advantage and really try to go through the blocker, sending that ball out. But if you don't find the block or the block is too close, it's also hard to go for a check ball, especially in men's volleyball, Jane, because sometimes you're too high above the block that you're not able to touch the blockers anymore.
Sarap naman ang problema na ganun. You're a little too high. You're jumping too high. I wish I had that issue as well. Air time. 7-4. And here's a man who really stepped up his game, particularly in the second set, moving forward for Myanmar against Singapore. He's a tricky veteran for them. He's one of the leaders of this squad. He was unable to stop that one as we are ushered into our first technical timeout. Thailand with a strong start here, up by 4. Quick look at Kun Mi here, who had 14 in just 3 sets against Singapore. And it's a lovely attack from Myanmar, and that's going to be a confidence booster for them.
So this is their other go-to guy, Wai, who already scored 2 points in this first set, and he's being utilized more even at the start of this set because the bulk of their points last time came from Ong Thu, so they have to be able to find more players and activate more players, and that will be all up to San Mang.
Quesada getting on the score sheet once again. Restoring the 4-point cushion. Way too much power there. Over once more. Look of concern on his face.
Substitution for Myanmar, number 14 out, number 10, Yi San in.
Right after that miss, he's substituted as well as Yi San comes on. Nice little back set. Nabasa dun ng Thailand. Chance now here for the Thais to set up from the back row. It's a lovely attack.
Really good transition there. You really see all the attempts of the setter of Thailand, Charon Suk. He has so many options to be able to give to, and sometimes, you know, you can give it in the back row, in the front row, and that's why their opponents are having a hard time blocking and really reading their offense, because there's so many players to give the ball to.
Again, straight into the net from Y. 7-point lead for the Thais. Still a look of concern on their coach's face, however. Supajira Kul Monchai. And they're going to be helping out the cause of Myanmar there for that service error.
This was one of the issues in their game versus Singapore. The Thailand team committed one too many errors on their services, and even at the latter part of the first set which they lost, that the service errors really cost them a lot, and most of their points that they gave to the other team came from their services.
Tit for tat. Yin San sends it over the line. Shot on Suk now. Again, looking for the check there and didn't get it. Starting to get frustrated now, Ong.
Myanmar really trying to get their offense going, but since their offense is really focused on Ong Thu, they're still trying to find another man who can come up or even produce not the same number, but even just half, maybe, you know, Jing, you need someone to be able to come up with or average with some numbers and really fill in that big position that he has left behind.
It really is a shame that Ong Thu can't line up for this one. Should have been a fantastic test for his skill set to go up against this powerhouse, and they send that one out from the service area. It's another free point here for Thailand.
Back-to-back service errors, and the score is already now 8 points. Thailand is up with 8, and if you're Myanmar, you have to be able to utilize and to take advantage with the service errors that Thailand is giving you and not commit the same thing as yourself.
The lead has swollen to 9 for Thailand as Cole sends that one into the net. Second technical timeout, are able to score fresh off the technical timeout. And prior to that, we got to look at some of the fans here at the Phil Sports Arena. It's always great to see the Thais coming out to support their own squads. You see it across multiple sports as well, over football and volleyball here. They come out in attire too, not just, you know, in blue or they have face paint. They've got the traditional garb. It's fantastic to see the passion from their countrymen as the Thais pick up another point here to make it 17-8.
Block kill there by Pak Ti Kao, and also Sang Si, opposite spiker of the Thai team. These two guys average double digits in their games in that game versus Singapore, and just so much height in this Thai team. You see when they're going up for the block, Jing, kung gaano kahaba yung reach nila going over that net. It's so hard to look for an area that your ball can go through.
I'm sure this is a match that the Philippines is looking very closely at. These are the opponents for the next round. And what do you think they're looking at in particular here between these two sides?
Of course, you always want to see a good game from these two teams, and everybody watching now, you just want Myanmar to be able to get back up, find a little firepower that they've been missing in this first set, and just really spread out the games more, and for Thailand to just keep doing what they're doing. Coach Monchai putting in his starting 6, even though knowing that Ong Thu won't be playing, but they're not risking anything in this game, like unlike their game versus Singapore. They lost that first set and was really costly for them.
They mean business here, the Thais. Ooh, love the adjustment in midair. Off speed, works a treat.
Just enough power over the blocker. You see, it's very, very rare for men's volleyball where you see rallies because they're just so athletic, they jump so high, they move so fast, so much power in every spike that it's so easy for them to put the ball away. But what you can do, sometimes the other team can do as well. So it's really a matter of what sets you apart from the other teams. And for Thailand, it's really the amount of firepower they have. All the players are able to score double digits, and you really can credit that to Chon Suk, who really distributes the ball perfectly between all his players.
Off the block and out. Really working that middle. As a treat, Quesada once more. Up and down like a spring, Quesada, so quick. You're loving the focus here of Thailand. But Myanmar able to pull one back. They're on a mission, Thailand, to get out of this set as quickly as possible. Myanmar trying to make a game of it here.
Smart move there by San, going to the smaller blocker. Setter of Thailand, Charon Suk, is up in front, and you want to go and take advantage of that when you're up against a much smaller block.
From the back row. So many weapons at the disposal of the Thai setter.
Sang Si from the back row. Jay, you see how he flies up in the air, and when you see these men's volleyball players jump from the back row, it's like they're also jumping in the front line. So you really have to put up a good block and try to get as much hands up there at the net as possible.
He's been looking for that check for a while now. Napatawa na lang siya, hindi gumagana.
He's probably going for the hands of Pak Dicao, but it's not working for him. In the first set, he's had a couple of missed hits and too much angle and too much, he's going for that angle too much that it's going wide.
Well, this one working a little better for them, switching it up with a running hit. Thun giving Myanmar the 13th point of the set. A long way back for them. To start building some momentum here. Unfortunately, Thailand so quick to bounce right back.
Really taking advantage of their back row here whenever, even though they have 3 players in the front line, Jay, you rarely see players on the back row come and attack because you have a full front line. But Charon Suk outsmarting the defense of Myanmar by going and utilizing his players in the back row, because why not? They've been 100% over there.
Timeout, Myanmar.
Timeout being called here by Myanmar. They want to perhaps create a bit of momentum heading into the second set. Trying to figure out how they want to set up here. What are you telling your squad here? You're down by 9 right now, and you're struggling against the powerhouses. What are you telling your boys heading into the final, what could be the final point of this first set?
Well, Jay, it's not over yet. This game will only put them in second place, but it's still going to get them into the semifinals, which they will have to cross over with 2 teams from Group B, either Indonesia or the Philippines. So you just have to get as much experience as you can, expose yourself as much as you can, and probably just work as a team, because it's not over yet here in the SEA Games. But it's really hard for the team of Myanmar because they don't have their captain. So the biggest question right now is who will step up, who will you turn to or look to for that guidance and just that leadership inside the court.
And that one just long. By a very small margin there. 10-point lead still though for the Thais. It's still set point. That one off the block, and that'll do it here for set 1.
Great
Thailand takes set number 1.
Really story for that first set. Thailand flying out of the blocks here in the first against Myanmar. They mean business in this match, and grabe ang ipinakita nila dito. Myanmar just could not respond against this Thai squad. They couldn't get any kind of fluidity going, Michelle.
And the Thai team just really dominated all areas in terms of spiking, blocking, and aces. They did commit one too many errors in the service line, but Myanmar still committed much more errors than them. 11 errors for Myanmar in that first set. For the Thai team, only 6 points. So if you're Myanmar right now, you're having a hard time getting your offense going, just maybe limit your errors to lesser than your opponent, and they'll be back into this game.
Thailand getting us started in the second. They've been utilizing the back row quite a bit. The Thais. Better able to save that. Free ball here for Myanmar. Can they take advantage? Almost. And that one will go long for the Thais. And it is going to be a video challenge. He took a look immediately
on the call by Thailand.
over to the bench.
Ball in, ball out.
Felt as if it touched the line.
We shall see if the ball touched that end line. Sumkane Kitsada is also up now and starting for the Thai team. So Coach Monchai made that one adjustment and putting out one of his starters. But Sumkane actually started also and played all throughout their game versus Singapore in that first day.
You gotta love the video challenge whenever they call one. The music comes on and it makes it a lot more nerve-wracking inside the Phil Sports Arena.
Just really the suspense, waiting for the final decision and that video replay to see if that ball really did go in or out. So all our teams have the luxury of calling a video challenge, but you can't abuse it because 2 unsuccessful attempts at a video challenge will suspend your rights to call for one within the set.
Right.
So if you use it too much and just use it to your advantage and to break the other team's momentum, it can also work to your disadvantage.
Let's take a look at the decision.
The challenge was unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful. Ball was out. So Myanmar drawing first blood in the second set.
They were right there in the first set, going neck and neck with Thailand, but after that first technical timeout, upon reaching the second technical timeout, Thailand was really blowing that margin away, and all up until 25 points, they just dominated that first set in all areas.
Wow. Lovely misdirection from the setter.
Kitsada Sumkane with a very emphatic hit from the opposite side of the court going down the line. Great set there by Charon Suk, only leaving him with one blocker.
This time going up against the double block. Myanmar able to do enough. Kunmi is actually the tallest of the Thais. It's a large squad that they brought here to the Southeast Asian Games. He's 6'8", slightly bigger than the average height of 6'2" of this Thai squad. And nakabawi naman siya kaagad dito.
And you see the length whenever he goes up to hit. He's just over that block, and that last attempt from that set by Charon Suk in the outside. That was a broken play already, but he was just too high. Went for that drop shot, found the hole, scored a point for his squad.
It's much better from Myanmar. It's a good hit, and they're gonna have a free ball here. Mixing it up nicely. They're taking the lead, I believe. Yep, 3-2.
Early lead there by Myanmar, and the question is really on how to sustain it up until 25 and just stop the offense here of Thailand. But it's good that they're starting out differently. They're using the block, and they're just really checking their balls out and scoring them a point here.
Beautiful combination by the Thais. Utilizing Kunmi once more.
If you're the blockers right now, Jing, yeah, that's the same reaction that you're gonna get from the Myanmar team. You will always go up with Quesada because you cannot also leave him unattended. So that leaves Kunmi on the outside with only one blocker.
Again, check ball for Myanmar.
Why using those high hands of Kunmi? Going for that space in between the hands. You don't know how he saw that, but mid-air, because of the hang time that these men have, you can really see where to direct your ball and how to get a good point across. Early lead here by Myanmar, 2 points versus Thailand.
Infraction called on the big man. And that's gotta hurt for Myanmar. Just starting to build your momentum, and you throw that one into the net.
Of course, after losing in that first set with quite a bit of a margin, coming into the second set is a much different Myanmar team, but these errors, once again, that costed them a lot in the first set. You want to be able to limit that so that you can get ahead and get in the game with Thailand.
That's the thing, when you're up against the Thais, the margin for error really diminishes. You're gonna get punished by this powerhouse squad. And just like that, score tied at 5 apiece.
What's really commendable about the setter of Thailand, Charoensuk, even though you see how different his height is when he's up, when he's beside Quesada or Kunmi, he manages to get quite a bit of a block in his game. Last block, he had 4. He was the player with the most blocks in that game versus Singapore. So despite the height, he can put up a good defense at the net.
Really went for power with that serve, and that one sailed out. Misreception, pero buhay pa dito para sa Myanmar, at napaganda pa.
It's a point, miscommunication there between Sang-si and Charoensuk, and who's going to get the ball when in doubt. If you're the defense, you have to be able to cover as much ground as you can and not let your setter take the first ball, because then you will have a broken play.
Libero doing the setup job. Got a lot of power from the back row, and then it's in.
Sang-si is there, doing much damage from the back row, and we've seen this, Jing, in the first set, how Charoensuk is just really going for those back row hitters and trying to get that connection established as early as possible.
Beautiful response there from Myanmar. At sila maghatid sa atin into the technical timeout. It's a good start to the second set for them. Only up. Myanmar showing signs of life here in the second set. They've gotten their fluidity and attack going. They're dealing with the threat of Thailand a little bit better. See the Thai support enjoying themselves at the Phil Sports Arena. Not quite the vibrant arena that we have grown accustomed to when the Philippines is playing. I'm sure it's still an enjoyable atmosphere for those involved. And Myanmar coming out of the gates here with another point.
Showing that they can too score from the back row. They've been going to Y and Ong. That duo has been working for them, especially in this second set. But not to mention, Ko also has been, that you see on the screen, that was Ko, and the middle spiker of Myanmar also has been working very hard in the defense and offense.
Nice touch there to keep this play alive. Two players from Thailand getting in the way of one another, but not a problem as Ong sends that one long.
When you see them up close and personal in the net, you see that the Myanmar team is rather smaller than the Thai team, but they're still going over the block, and you see how athletic these spikers are from the Myanmar team. So much power and the elevation as well to get above this average 6'2" team up against them is just amazing.
Unbelievable. And there it is. A downtrodden look on his face. Ong Thu, explosive player for them, and not just the main man, but also a leader for them. He is the captain. sure he'd love to be involved, but Ong providing a bit of firepower now, finding his bearings.
Ong really spiking the ball on top where you see all the blockers, and he's just going and swiping the ball off the hands, and it's been working for him ever since the first set. And the block of the Thai team has yet to get him and stop him on those attempts.
That one, an emphatic point from Sang-si, all alone.
Now you know that the Thai team means business when they come up with those combination plays. It's the first that we've seen here, and I'm sure that we'll see more of those, especially if they want to get ahead early on in this second set.
If the Thais thought they were going to sail through this match, Myanmar have other plans. Starting to find their groove. Libero with a nice save, and that one is in. Hinayaan dun ng Thai player, thought he was going to sail out, but the libero with his first point of the match.
One-handed save there by Hitun, and that was a great point, miscalculated there by Sang-si, thinking that ball was sitting out.
Save with a foot. Quesada down the middle. Nice recovery from the Thais.
He's been quiet at the start of this second set. Great save there by Ong, but it's not enough to get them a point higher in this scoreboard. A much hard-working team of Myanmar in the second set. Jing, mas dumidepensa sila, mas mabilis na lang talaga, and the reactions with how the Thai team is playing, they're keeping up very well.
Trying to avoid the blowout. That was the first set. Sadanchit with a nice block. Tie things up at 12 apiece. Oof. A rocket of a service. From the back row. It was just a wall that was erected by the Thais there in the middle.
Triple block there. Everyone was just all over that back row hit, and if you have Kunmi and also Quesada, and then you have Charunsuk all up on your face while you're going up for a spike, it's really hard to choose which direction you're going to go to and how to penetrate that block.
Now the defense showing up here for Thailand, causing a timeout from the side of Myanmar. Or rather, it's going to be a video challenge. They're saying there might have been a net touch.
There is a challenge on the call by Myanmar, net fault.
In the first set against Singapore, actually, Myanmar won 2 challenges. Got Hawkeyes there on the bench, so we will see if it was a similar case here.
They're calling a net violation on that block by Kunmi Kantapat in the outside position. It was a block point, a block kill called by our referees, and the point was awarded to Thailand. But if this challenge is successful, Myanmar will also be the one awarded a point.
Look at that. It's so tough to see things like this, but it looks like maybe there was a brush on the net. Have a look at it on the way down. No, it's clean.
Unsuccessful challenge there, and as you can see it,
unsuccessful.
both teams now have one unsuccessful challenge, so one more will suspend their rights in this second set to call for a challenge.
The interesting thing is what you mentioned earlier, Michelle. Not only are you challenging, but you have an opportunity to stop momentum, to talk to your boys. It's almost as if it's a timeout of sorts. And you saw Myanmar utilizing that opportunity to speak with the coach, and perhaps they've got a new outlook here after that video challenge.
Because you have an extra timeout, you have 2 technical timeouts given by the game itself, but you also have 2 timeouts that you can call anytime at your discretion, and these challenges can also be considered sort of a break for you and your team to re-huddle and regroup for a bit.
He's going to be disappointed with that reception. Service ace for Fayo. Back-to-back points for Myanmar. Square them at 14. From the back row, it's a clean hit.
They're really sticking with that back row offense, and they've been successful in that front since the first set. Charoensuk really knowing who player to go to at the right moment to get the Thai team up ahead in this scoreboard here in the second set.
Utilizing the back set to a treat there, and Y has been the main man for Myanmar.
Unstoppable, if I may say, in this second set. He's been their go-to guy, and he's been delivering consistently, and he's been really the highest scorer in this game for the Myanmar team.
Charoensuk anticipating that ball had gone over, turned around very quickly to make a block.
At the set's
What a finish
timeout, the score is 16
from
to
Somkane.
15, and Thailand with the lead.
Thailand ang maghatid sa atin into the technical time. Myanmar keeping it tight, 16 to 15 the score right now. They're finding their groove offensively, and they're thwarting the attack of the Thais. But still the powerhouses with their noses in front here.
1 point ahead. Quesada is now on the service line. That means Practicao, their highest pointer in that last game versus Singapore, who was rather quiet in this second set, is now up in the front line.
Nice block. He enjoyed that.
Somkane with a kill block after ending the second technical timeout with also a very great hit across court.
I was never going to go over the net. Not a very good trajectory from that hit from Quesada.
These are the errors, Jing, that Thailand really has to watch out for, especially when you're this close against Myanmar in the second set. You can't underestimate this Myanmar team.
To whoever they will be facing, Thailand in the semifinals, of course, it's going to be either Philippines or Indonesia. They're going to be looking at this second set and thinking, these guys, you know, they're not unbeatable. You can get close to them, and they do make mistakes. Well anticipated in the middle. It's a sturdy block to give Thailand their 19th point.
Now the net defense of Thailand is coming alive. They've been manning that net, not letting any ball across, and now the offense of Myanmar is struggling a little bit.
Free ball now given away. But again, the defense now turning it up here for Thailand.
Timeout, Myanmar.
Yet another block, and that one is care of Practicao. He has been silent in the offense, but in that net defense, they are all over that net, not letting any Myanmar ball across. Practicao, also Somkane is up in front and really manning and not letting anything get through.
It was a big factor for them in their win against Singapore. They had 11 blocks to Singapore's 3, and that was a key for them in making sure that they downed the Singaporeans, and it seems like they're only improving here against Myanmar.
And it's easy to say that Thailand is good in blocking just because they're tall, but like in the start of the second set, we see them just putting their hands up, and Myanmar has been using that tall block and just swiping it out, and now that they're reaching across to the net, now that they're really blocking and putting more effort into their actions, now you see more kill blocks for them at the end of the second set.
Tough time to be a Myanmar fan, as you saw in the expression of the face of their supporter in the stands. Still waving the flag, but not the expression of happiness that you would associate
Number 2 out, number 17, Tatar Lin in.
with a team that you are supporting. And here is a substitution now. First appearance for Tatar Lin.
He wasn't fielded in that last game versus Singapore, and now you can see what Coach Kiao wants from Tatar Lin in this very close and important second set for Myanmar.
Nice one-handed set there from Charoen-suk and finished off emphatically by Pak Di-kiao. Starting to see the experience here of Thailand as they turn it up in the crucial stages of the second set. Myanmar save this. They stay alive. There's an infraction called.
Charoen-suk not being able to convert that one. That was too close to the net. That was an overreaching violation for him. He knew he couldn't tip it on the other side because he's a back row player as of the moment. So reaching over to the other side of the court is an infraction for you.
Nabawi naman kagad dito ng Thailand. Up by 4 now. 3 away from making it a 2-0 match.
Great performance by the middle spikers of Thailand. If you're a team going up against the Thai team, you really want to watch out for Quesada and also Pak Di-kiao in this department. They are really the ones that Charoen-suk really goes to whenever they need a point. It's an easy point for the Thai team when they go to these two players.
It's going to be another video challenge here from Myanmar. They're taking the chances. They might as well utilize their challenges while they still can. You're saying there was a touch on the hit.
Especially now that Thailand is making a run for it towards that finish line and only 2 points away. If this challenge is successful, they're going to be back down to 22.
Kiao Soar win. What a challenge that was placed on his shoulders. En route to a famous victory in their first ever Southeast Asian Games match. Downing the Singaporeans, they were getting themselves pumped up and ready for the challenge of the Thais, and you lose your best player 5 points away from sealing victory, and now you gotta change up your whole game plan.
Now you gotta mix up the, you have to mix up the lineup that you've been practicing with for months. That challenge was unsuccessful there. No block touch in the hands of Quesada. So the Thai team will remain at 23. That's the hardest thing for a coach, Jing, to adjust mid-season and not only losing a player in your roster, but the captain who is serving you with so much numbers and who's producing so much points for you and your whole team. Losing that guy will really hurt not only your offense, but the morale of your team. But looking at Myanmar right now, yes, they're a few points behind, but they're still trying to get points across, spiking and really working their hardest.
Found room there deep in the middle. Lovely play by Thailand as Quesada finishes it off, taking Thailand to set point.
For Thailand,
Great move there by Quesada. That 1-2 jump, not going up, mistiming the blockers of Myanmar and not being able to read that one. No block there for Quesada means an automatic point for him, definitely.
Set point for the Thais. Infraction called against Thailand.
Myanmar saving one set point there.
Not sure what the infraction was there. So 1 set point saved by Myanmar. However, the Thais respond right away to seal set 2.
Thailand with set number 2.
Yet another well-executed play from the back row. That was care of Sangsi Chakarapop.
Effortless efficiency so far from Thailand. They went up against a sturdier Myanmar in that second set, but they still managed with quite some ease in that one, Michelle.
And we were talking about this Myanmar team and how they committed too much errors in the first set. They were able to manage that here in the second set, only committing 4 errors to Thailand's 6. But it's the blocks that Thailand had in that second set, 7-0 versus Myanmar in that second set. If you're looking at the spikes, it's 13 and 14 respectively for Myanmar and Thailand. It's already a tight game. It's not the offense of Thailand that's working for them right now or that's making them sail through this game effortlessly. It's really their net defense. 7 kill blocks in just the second set alone, Jing, is a huge advantage for these really tall Thai team.
It's a frightening sight when you're getting ready to attack and there's an average height of 6'2" that you have to face off against. But it's not just that. They anticipate where you're going to attack and they move very fluidly. And Myanmar have been really struggling to cope with this defense.
They were really putting pressure on Wai, who has been the center of the offense of Myanmar, especially in that second set. And what Myanmar really has to do now is just distribute the ball more to put more pressure on the net defense of Thailand, and it won't be that easy for them to catch up quickly.
The Thais, meanwhile, really good at switching things up and using varying forms of attack. Another point here for Kun Mi, the tallest of the bunch. And the main man against Singapore, Pak Di Kao, relatively quiet today. Lovely hit to salvage a broken play.
Som Kane from the back row. That was a broken play already. Just really trying to put that ball up, but this back row offense of Thailand has been working so well for them that even those broken plays and those missed hits, they're able to convert into a point.
Myanmar with their first one of this third set. Zhao Luin Tun. Sa mga bunot off the bench. So tough to stop. Quesada, a wry smile on his face.
Coach Monchai putting in Maniwong Mawin, another setter, to replace their captain Saranchit Charunsuk. And it's still the same. They're still moving fluidly and effortlessly, and the connection between the spikers and the setter is still the same. And that's how you know that this Thai team, their bench is really, really deep.
It'll be interesting to see if we see a few more substitutions from Thailand. They do have a 2-set advantage. They have been cruising in this game. Combination, and it works at Street wide open. Quesada the decoy. Kun Mi the finisher.
Great combination play there by Mawin. And everybody just really going to Quesada. When Quesada goes up to attempt, you want to put a block up in front of him because he's really going to smash that ball down.
He's doing it on the opposite end as well. Such a force. Quesada has been spectacular in this game so far.
Mawin Maniwong, a much taller setter compared to Saranchit Charunsuk now, is also putting up a good block and helping and adding up into the block points in Thailand.
It's been that kind of game for Thailand. Error there, but they can laugh it off. They are in a comfortable spot.
You see they're so relaxed, Jay. Even though Myanmar was right behind them in that second set, sometimes getting ahead, you never really saw this Thai team phased by whatever Myanmar gave them. So composed under pressure, and just when the points were needed to be made, that's when they really stepped up, changed their game, and managed to win effortlessly in that second set.
It's kind of a scary prospect for those who will be facing them from Group B. It's almost as if may tinatago pa sila. They know they have another gear that they can kick into if needed. Whistle blown.
That violation there. When you have too much hang time, Jing, this is what you were wishing for. if you have too much hang time and not being able to control your body with that momentum going for that spike, a net violation is really what you're gonna get.
4-point lead now for Thailand. That one going to go long for Myanmar. The Thais take us into the first technical timeout of this third set. So glad you could join us for what is the first of 3 men's volleyball matches today. You gotta love it. Such passionate support in the stands. In full costume as well. Jingam Lang and Michelle Gumabay calling the action. You'd expect that he is enjoying this match. A spectacle all on his own there in the stands. I'd like to invite everybody, the Philippines in action later on at 6 o'clock. If there still are tickets to be had, definitely make your way over to the Phil Sports Arena. It's gonna be an amazing atmosphere to enjoy as the Philippines look to seal top spot against Indonesia later on.
Try your luck for all the volleyball fans there, because last night I heard Jing sold out now tickets Phil Sports Arena, and well, you're really if you're a Filipino right now, you're a volleyball fan, you want to see how the Philippines will fare tonight versus Indonesia, because that will seal the deal in their ranking in Group B and really show everybody who will emerge victorious in that game versus Indonesia to move up into the ladder.
No surprise who you'll be hoping to face in the semifinals. As you can see in this match, the discrepancy is quite large, particularly with Ong He not available for Myanmar. They're finding it difficult to find their firepower. And up against a Thai side that is just so well drilled. It's a well-oiled machine that they've brought here to the 30th Southeast Asian Games. They're looking on point and likely to seal this one. But still, Myanmar putting up a great fight here. They're coming alive in this third set. 5-point advantage for the Thais.
Being led by this guy right here on the service line. Why? He's been their go-to guy, and even though that last point was for him as well, you see that there's not much rejoicing on the court of Myanmar right now. Yes, they're 6 points down, but not that much fluidity in their movements, and apart from why, it's just really a few points here and there for the other players in the squad.
Nice dig from the libero. Back row attack. It's kind of a broken play for Myanmar. Almost punished. They go to the back row and they're able to score. It's a lovely conversion from Myanmar.
Smart move there by Mang. He knows that the block of Thailand is really working on that front line, so he's been utilizing now his back row. He's been going to Y, he's been going to Ong also in the back row, so it's a good point for his team and a good strategy nonetheless.
Almost over to the advertising board, but they save it. Free ball, however, here for Myanmar. They go to the back row and they score once more.
Substitution for Thailand. Number 4 out, number 2 Amorntep Khonhan in.
So Sang Si taking a seat. We're going to see Amorntep Khonhan check into the match. First sighting for him. Every time they make an error from the service area, it's just that much more painful for Myanmar. They are looking for a way back in this game.
They are doing relatively well when it comes to spiking, but in the other areas, namely blocking and also service aces, they haven't really got to the scoreboard on that one, especially in the second set. And you need all these areas to be able to go up against a team such as this powerhouse Thai team right now and get ahead, get close, especially in this third set, the last and final set, if Thailand manages to close this out.
Number 16 out, number 15 Anot Pomchan in.
What's the infraction there? It's called on the setter.
We have a new setter on deck for Myanmar. Thao Tar Lin is suiting up, and he replaced San Mang, who played the first 2 sets.
Shuffling of the pack being seen. And the first point from the substitute, Khonhan. Easily the shortest of the bunch.
But look at that turn with his body. He wasn't even looking. That was a no-look spike from Amorntep Khonhan. He had 3 points in that last game versus Singapore. And now that he's put in for Sang Si, yes, he's not being able to put up a much taller block, but he can also spike like that point that he made a while ago.
6-point game. Quick for Quesada. It's been such a useful weapon for them all throughout this game.
Great fingers there by Mawin Manny Wong, the setter now coming in for their captain. That quick decision there, not only with his set, but how he decided to go to Quesada was just really fast. And the next thing we know, the ball was put away.
Making quick work of it there. Anut, nice little celebration to go along with it. 8-point lead now for Thailand.
Khon Han and also Anut Prom Chan, they saw action in their last game versus Singapore. Khon Han scoring 3 points and Prom Chan scoring 2 points for Team Thailand. And we see that these are two of the other players that Thailand is really developing and showing much more experience, trying to get much more experience here in the Southeast Asian Games.
8-point lead for Thailand. Infraction called in the center there.
Substitution for Thailand, number 14 out, number 16,
Let's take a look at it.
Nuadi in.
What is the call there, Michelle?
I think it was an overreaching violation as well, either an overreaching violation or a lifting violation from him, because he did not touch the net, but in that angle, the ball looked like it didn't cross the net yet, so it's probably a lifting violation.
Going backwards this time. And that's a very strong block against Ong.
Once again, the blocks of the Thai team really posing a threat to this Myanmar offense. No matter if it's a single block or a double block, if your hands are across the net, there's no ball getting through.
Nuadi with that kill block and a response from Myanmar. And a quick apology as well from Y, as that had come off the chest.
Y is still still leading the offense, still alive and spiking away through this third set, trying to rally his teammates and get more points.
They'd be hard-pressed to find a bright spot for Myanmar, given the way things have been going, but certainly Y is one of those bright spots.
But on the other side of the court, Quesada still not feeling tired with all the points he's had in the first 2 sets. And great set there by Manny Wong. Pinapabawi niya kapag hindi nakakapatay yung mga players. So that's a good morale booster for him.
Nam Kuntod, pinasok dito para sa Thailand. They're starting to field their substitutes now, keeping them warm for the semifinals that is just around the corner for them.
With a margin such as this, if you're Coach Monshai as of now, two sets up and also 9 points away and 9 points up versus Myanmar, you have the luxury of using your second stringers and giving them exposure here in the Southeast Asian Games and just really building up your second stringers and your bench players more.
A chance to rest and avoid any sort of disaster that might transpire with your key players. Quesada already sitting down. Just can't stop that.
That was a point care of Nuadi. He wasn't able to score any points versus Singapore, but he did see action in the 3rd and 4th set. That's his first point in today's game versus Myanmar.
Eight-point game. Myanmar looking for a last stand here against Thailand. As you can see, whether it's the first 6 or the substitutes, equally impressive here.
as long as you really have a good setter who can set up the ball and who can distribute the ball well, your spikers will always do their job and do what they're trained to do, which is score points. And Manny Wong has been distributing the ball ever since he stepped in for Charon Suk, and he's been activating all these second stringers who have come in replacement of Coach Monchai's first set players.
So medyo baliktad yung ginawa niya against Singapore. Instead of fielding the substitutes early, getting him a taste now here late in the match. It is match point now here for Thailand. After a tight second set, it's much more of the same that we saw in the first. The Thai's really pulling away here. Match extended as Kitty Had sends that one into the net. And went for power on that one. That was always going to be the risk.
At the end of
And
this
straight into the net, and that's the match. Thailand winning it in straight sets, Michelle.
1 point away, back-to-back service errors ends our game. Thailand, Myanmar, straight sets in favor of Thailand.
So the seedings have been decided in Group A. The favorites taking top spot, while Myanmar will settle for second. Both will see semi-final action. And it will be interesting to see who will meet who in that Final Four. Of course, things yet to be decided in Group B, where Indonesia and the Philippines will face off a little later on. Indonesia and the Philippines, as mentioned, but Cambodia and Vietnam will also be in action after this. It'll be an opportunity for them to sort out seedings and perhaps get a bit of pride before heading back to their home countries. But an efficient, impressive performance from Thailand, and they do it in straight sets, unlike their opener against Singapore.
Today's game for Thailand really seals the deal for them here in Group A. And you really see how much of a versatile team they are, with so many players ready